Episode 5. Sorry, Pistons fans. Episode 5 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy, joined by the human lava lamp, the one, the only, Manny being Manny, 6.9.
What's up, everyone? Man, Jeremy, I know that wall is orange behind you, but it looks like you're in the spawn of hell over there now because it's so dark. And I love it. I love your new setup. Congrats. Thanks
Thank
to
you.
Courtney and Amelia. And you didn't do shit. So thanks to them if they're listening, because now they made you happy.
They did definitely make me happy. So here's the thing. You're not getting the full view because Courtney's going to do like a little video, like a card shop preview. And it's actually kind of fresh when you think about it, that as an adult, like I have a room that's like dedicated to cards. It's cool to hang out. It's set up. I've got cards. I've got displays. It's designed. And I can't wait for people to see the lighting. Now, I will say I am super annoyed because I am fully entrenched in the Apple ecosystem. Everything in my house is Apple. And we got on, and my iMac decided to say, you know what, Jeremy, fuck you. I'm not going to work. So we were paused. I had to go grab a MacBook, bring it down. So we're rocking a different angle. The lighting was set up a little bit more, but I digress. It is awesome. I love it here. I'm staring at a wall of awesome cards. There's cards everywhere, but in a very organized manner. And it's just good to be back in this room and not listening to you beat me up verbally and say that I don't care and my studio sucks.
I never said that. Courtney's told me you haven't even left that room. You slept on that couch right in front of you. And I don't even know where you went to the bathroom, so I'm not asking that. But I've heard that you haven't even left the room.
That is true, nor has she. There is one of those big Gatorade buckets over in the corner, and we just make do.
Oh, jeez. So, Jeremy, the last couple of days, we recorded on Sunday. You've been hot. Fingers have been hot from the Reckless family with free breaks, giving out thousands and thousands of dollars
Thousands.
of free money to these individuals. Some say some deserve it, some don't. AKA Don, he does deserve it. So I want to say that. I appreciate him. I am on his podcast. P.S. I am on his podcast. He's supposed to be releasing it here shortly, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a week already, and it is only, what is it, Tuesday? It feels like it's Wednesday or Thursday. You know, we were Courtney and I for Hobby Night School, and this is going to be a sneak because we haven't even released the first teaser video, but we interviewed Nat Turner. We made our debut on Drip, and you want to talk about community and feeling special. Oftentimes, you're confident in what you do, but when you go and do it in front of a new audience in a new spot, you know, there's some nerves. You're a little bit anxious, and truly grateful to you and all of our friends who jumped on and just showed tremendous support and love and, you know, welcomed us in. I will say, like, the half an hour leading up to it, I wanted to rage smash everything in the house. We were trying to simulcast, and then like we got way beyond my level of technical bandwidth, and all of a sudden the stream stopped working, and we must have done 20 test streams, and everything was going perfect.
Yeah.
And we were like 10-15 minutes from going live, and nothing was working. So luckily supported, you know, and this is kind of on me. I'm like, we need to figure this out. You know, if you got to be prepared when shit goes haywire to be able to work through it. And so Courtney's just like, just call him and ask for help. I'm like, no, I got this.
Hear me.
And then she's like, why don't you just call him and ask him for help? I'm like, why you doubt me? And then finally I was like, yeah, why don't you shoot him a note? And they were Johnny on the spot, jumped on. Of course, the moment they hop on, everything starts working flawlessly. But we did the free break of Bowman, and you were in the chat doing your thing, keeping it buck wild, as the kids would say. or maybe that was what we would say when we were kids. It was
Yeah.
crunk up in there. And, at the end of the day, in the stream, we're talking about interviewing Nat Turner. Don's messaging us, asking, or like in the chat asking, I wonder if my AirPods will work. I'm about to go in the sauna nude. And we pull a orange on card auto numbered to 25 Bowman first for our buddy Don, which was pretty sweet because I didn't even at first know it was Don's card. It
Yeah.
took me a minute to recognize, like, oh, and on a side note, that was cool. But when I woke up this morning and I jumped on social, somebody had screen recorded the thing. So you hear me talking about Nat Turner, Don being naked, and pulling this card. And that's like the clippable moment. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going on Instagram today.
That's funny. The funny thing I thought was hilarious was like both of us aren't into the prospect, like in depth of prospecting world, right? We know the bigger names. So when you hit it, you weren't sure if it was a big hit or not, but we had our boy Rob in there. And he was like, that's a big hit. And then you got excited. So it was kind of cool to see that realization of, oh my gosh, we just pulled something big. Oh my gosh, it's for Don. Let's go. So we all got excited because, like I said, Don's been supportive. We've been supportive of Don. I consider him a friend in the hobby. So I was really happy that he, I mean, everyone that's listening that's in the chat, like I mean, I would have been happy, but I'm close with Don, so I was really excited that he got it.
Yeah, not just a friend in the hobby, friend in real life
Like,
now.
yeah,
And he is, I never ask people to share stuff. I never ask people, like, you jumped in and have always supported out of the kindness of your own heart. And I've never been one, like, if somebody's involved in something, we'll tag them in it. But I never say, hey, can you share this? Or hey, can you do that? And he was one of a few people who shared it and signed up on his own. And I know it's little, it was a free break, it didn't cost him anything, but for him to take time out of his day along with all the people that were in there is, it's a very special feeling. You know what I mean? And it makes you happy that on one token, it's like we ripped a bunch of wax yesterday and didn't pull anything. And then like the box afterwards, you rip something, and so it's like it's funny, but you're incredibly happy that that went to him. And then tonight we did a free Disney break on ISO.gg.
shout out
And
Ivan.
yeah, Courtney had bought 3 boxes, ripped one. We got skunked. We ripped 2 boxes tonight, a free break. And we're going to have Ivan on Hobby Night School,
Yep.
which, if you're interested, me and Manny already did it.
Yeah, we had him on. He was like one of our. I'm so thankful for Ivan because he has a big following on all his socials, and he's creating this app. And he was like gracious to have us when we first started joining our podcast. This is the
Yes.
same guy that hosted the National for what 10 years, and he came on our podcast like one of our first guests. So I always love Ivan, and I always support him with anything that he does.
Yeah. So we went on and we had like 50 something spots to give away every movie. So there's a lot of people doubled up, tripled up, foured up, fived up. And we pulled a gold Lilo and Stitch out of 100,
That's awesome.
which was super badass. And it was like a real cool. We had Disney music playing in the background. We kept it, PG because, there was people on with their kids. And we wanted them to have a good time. And so, again, gave away a ton of cards, had a blast. And at the end, it was like, hey, just so you know, it's not always like this when you jump on a reckless or too thick, so just be mindful of what time it is and what's being broken or what's going on. I don't want anybody to
Yeah. If
sit down with the popcorn as a family event, and then there's just us just destroying these poor children.
if you see like if I'm live and you see Reckless in the chat, or if they're live and you see me in the chat, it's not it's not gonna be family friendly because I don't know what it is, but we trigger each other to go to that route and it's so easy. I mean, it's funny how you guys can do that. You went from, I would say, a rated R stream to a PG stream in less than 24 hours. He went from playing I was getting some head to Moana.
Dude, I even said that. I sang like the song from Aladdin came on. It's like, I can show you the world. And I was like, man, 24 hours ago, it was like Mike Jones. Paul Wall.
I love that shit. I do want to, before we go to the next time, I felt like it was kind of destined for Don to win because he couldn't figure, like, half the spots he couldn't figure out how to join the live. And right when he figured out, he won the spot. So maybe if he figured it out sooner, he wouldn't have hit that card.
Well, let me tell you something. I might be, and I get it, like being a little bit unfamiliar. I might be coming to live with you. My children might kick me out of the house because on the interface on the user
Oh,
side
geez.
or the breaker side, there is a button for the air horn, like dude. I don't know what it is about it. It's like the fact that it's so obnoxious and terrible. I love playing it. My kids, I can tell they're plotting against me. Like I might
Yeah.
wake up to them putting a pillow over my face.
Yeah, Drip didn't know what they made with that feature when they added you to the Drip account, and then had that. You have such bad ADD that you're gonna hit that thing at the wrong
Yeah, dude, and so it's different, like, and not to make this about me, but on Whatnot, you can work off of other platforms, but when we were selling on Whatnot, it was just like the phone in front of you, and you had like a few buttons, and you could see the chat right here. With Drip, I can work off of a computer, so I have a relatively large, like maybe 20 some odd inch iMac monitor, and there's so many different buttons. You can see the whole marketplace. You can add stuff. So it's a lot going on. So it's going to take a little getting used to because you also want to be mindful that you keep the cameras on. So I'm trying to like read the comments, be entertaining, and look at that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, Bessie.
You're half reading the comments like, "I'm about to hit this button. I'm about to hit this
Yes,
button." There's one
exactly.
point we've been doing all these episodes together, so I kinda have a read on you that there's one time I told everyone to turn down their headset because I just felt it, like, about to come, and then right when I said it, it was "Bow, bow, bow, bow." I was like, "Jeez, this is bad." I already know how to like Jeremy, like, to a T now.
Well, I feel in my mind that yeah, when you build that chemistry, I almost felt like I would let people down. Like I know there's certain things that are expected of me, and so I feel like a tremendous amount of responsibility to deliver in said moments. And it's usually just being an obnoxious asshole.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we are, right? I had uh Blaine, Hail Mary. Well, he changed his name
I
to
know.
it confused me. He
Me
DM'd me. I was
too.
like, who is this? So I was like, he's changed it to his initials BST. I was like, buy sell trade. He's like, no, you idiot. It's my initials. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I had the same reaction. I'm like, man, there's so many platforms. I don't know if I can withstand another buy selling trading platform.
He said he sent me a DM today. He was at a gas station and he found you. I don't know if he sent it to you too, but he showed me the display and it was all covered in beef sticks and it said beef sticks everywhere. And I was like, let's go. We got you found Jeremy. I bet you can't find tummy sweats.
Oh my goodness. So I have it on. I don't know if this is true. I didn't fact check this, but I think we're gonna meet at National, and I believe is it 10 weeks from today that National begins?
Oh wow. I need to start saving some money.
10 weeks, man. It's coming up fast.
It is. It's already May. It's already the second half of May.
I know, man. I know. It is coming up fast. I feel like every week is a blur. I feel like there's so much stuff going on. I feel like there's shows, shows, shows. And it makes you appreciate the time when there's not shows, I guess, because
Yep.
it's like a whirlwind of hobby stuff going on for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, the last two weekends I didn't go to a show and it's felt calm in the weekends. I got to hang out with the kids, go play outside. I do want to bring up, we kind of didn't bring this up because we didn't do a recap of the Skyline. And
Sure.
I was just wondering how Skyline went for you. We barely talked about it.
Yeah, actually, I think the intent was to have done like a recap, and it's just been so chaotic that
Yeah.
it's probably at this point too late to do one. They had Frank Thomas signing, which was a smashing success. And what's funny is there'll be an autograph coming to Don because he had messaged us and said, "Hey, can you scoop me an auto?"
He
And
brought that
so
up. He brought that
Oh,
up in our stream. He was like, "How do I get Courtney and Jeremy to send me one of these Frank Thomases?" I DM'd him, but I didn't hear anything back, and I really
yeah.
want one.
So we had gotten one, and he was gone, and there were no more. So I'm like, just get it to Don, and we'll get another one. So I'm
Mhm.
excited. So that he'll get that in his package with his monster card. So I had everything. Everything was lining up for us to be the best show that we have ever had. We have flipped almost entirely to football outside of, a few soccer cards, a few basketball cards, a few baseball cards. The cards that we have, I know are in high demand because I have a lot of them posted on Veriswap. I have them up and I get offers nonstop. When I go through the timeline, these are the cards that are moving. When I go into Discord, these are the cards that are like everybody wants. So I felt really good about that. I felt really good about the weather changing. I felt really good about just the buzz and the vibe in the hobby. With that being said, and you already touched on it, the weather's turning. People have been cooped up. It's the weekend. School's almost out. And you and I both know that, like, when the weather gets to a certain point, mama wants, not just mama, you want the kids outside playing and you want to take advantage of those good days. So I had met with we had a meeting with Ludex the night before, and they're like, "Well, what do you think about the show?" I'm like, "It has all the makings to be an absolute home run," which it was. But I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if foot traffic was a little bit less than what we're used to because of this.
Yep.
And sure enough, the foot traffic was a little bit less than what we're used to. And you're used to assholes to elbows sort of thing.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a little bit less. We had a badass table. We had incredible foot traffic. We flipped a ton of cards, came home with more cards and more money, which is a beautiful thing. But there is one thing that I want to talk about, and I was actually going to have Saul jump on because he mentioned it as well. People and dealers are growing tired of the disrespectful, and I don't know what to call them, that group of people
The
who,
shitheads.
the shitheads
I love
that
this topic.
come and offer like 40% or adamant that you have to give them a massive discount so they can make money. And they're doing it to people who paid to set up, who calm down, Rob. Some people pay, some people get hooked up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Works part.
um, some people. It, so let me paint this. So a kid comes up, has his head down, and you know how I am. I introduce myself. Hey man, I'm Jeremy. How are you? Shake hands. Are you having a good show? Did you pick up anything? Guy doesn't look up. Probably early 20s. Starts looking over, asking to see every quarterback in the case, scanning everything with Alt. And so we get to a Jordan Love card. And it was a Jordan Love Dragon Scale, numbered out of 67, pop three. There was it was all day a $600 card. Like there was comps, there was everything made
Yep.
for it. And like he's going back and forth, and then he's like, "Well, I value the card at 510." And so I'm like, "Okay." Now, mind you, really hasn't even looked up, hasn't introduced himself, completely like ignored me. And I'm just trying to be friendly. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes I know I can be introverted. Sometimes I know I can be quiet. And sometimes when I'm doing it, my intent is not to be an ass or be disrespectful to somebody. It's just, my personality. So I always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And then he was just taking some time and people were trying to get in there. And I had one guy who was like, "Hey, I'm interested in that card." And I was like, "All right, boss, I got you. Let me work through this." And so then the guy is like, "Yeah, so would you take 210?" I had it stickered. Like I legitimately think it was close. It was probably
What's that off?
650 to 700. There was a recent comp at 700. I had it priced at 600 because I had a lot of upside. And my thought was, it's that way I can just, the conversation's easy. Like, all right, bro, I'm already below comps. I've got a couple bucks. I've already given you something. Let's make it nice and easy. Let's be mindful of the time. So
I'm
he
looking
goes,
at percentage. That's like
yeah.
40%.
So then he goes, well, I value it at 510. And then he offers 210. And I'm like, nah, man. And then, he goes into like how he has to make money. And I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, I was finally like, I don't want to say I lost my cool, but like the warmness went away, and I was like, well, what do you think I'm trying to do? I'm like, okay, so like overpay me because I'm trying to make money. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, let me get that card. I'm going to work with this guy. And then I made the next deal. We did like a $5,000 deal, like 2,500, 2,500. Very easy back and forth using comps as a reference point, maybe talking about availability, pop. And there was a couple cards where we were off, but they were smaller. And I'm like, let's just get to the end. Let's agree on the meat and potatoes of the deal. And he's like, I agree. So we got to the end. It was very easy. It was like, you give me 20 bucks, I'll throw in a couple slab strongs. Boom.
Yeah.
Big deal. Kept it moving. And so it was a long-winded story. Is there was a lot of that where there is a level of entitlement where people think that you have to give them something so they can go make money. But it's like, I would like to make a little bit of money or recoup some money or mitigate some of my losses so I can continue to buy cards.
Yeah.
And I talked to all the dealers because I like to understand. I think this is the next level of my growth is understanding, like, hearing what they're hearing, seeing, asking them what they're seeing, so that way I can apply it to what we're doing. And that was unanimously a complaint. And so we were driving home, Saul, who was set up, and we did a deal. He
He
bought
was set up.
yeah, he was set up right across from me. He gave me cash and a Jordan Love PSA 9 downtown for my Justin Fields optic white sparkle
That's
PSA
awesome.
8. So
That's
we
awesome.
did a deal, and then it was like, he's a young kid. He just turned 21 a few months ago, and he was on Twitter. Is like, man, these people who come in and offer you 40% and are entitled. And I was like, even the kids recognize it because it's typically the younger folks. And so, long-winded way of saying the show was a home run. Ludex treats us like royalty. I am incredibly grateful for Brock, Matt, and the rest of the team. Just bang up job from those guys. Did some awesome deals, met some awesome people. And I got to get a shout out to my guy. He came up, and I don't know his Instagram handle, so I don't want to butcher it. He came up, he's like, I just got done listening to Thicc. He said, I too have never seen Star Wars, and I want to buy Patrick Williams. And I was like, my guy, he gets it. So the last show, he cleaned me out of all my AO. Today, or that's at Chicago, he cleaned me out of all my P Will. And he's thinking about setting up for the first time ever, and doing a trade night. So I told him, hey, come to trade night at Chipshawana, set up next to us. We'll show you the ropes, and then also you've got somebody who can help keep an eye on your cards. And so, in your absence, Manny, I did want to relay that to my guy who came through, and
That's
I was
awesome.
elated. I was
Yeah.
elated.
I was doing the math here, and you said what was the sticker price on that Jordan Love you had?
600.
So, and what it was the comps? You said it's seven. One
There
sold for
was there was a sale at 700. It was a pop 3, and so then there was one more listed for something outrageous. And the 700 was on bids, and it happened like even before A-Rod left for New York.
so 700 uh times like we usually like 80, like for us as dealers, if we could give it to you at 80%, 80 to 85, we will if we're making some money and you're putting meat on the bones. At 700 times point 0.8, that's 560. He wanted it. He said 510, right?
No,
Originally.
he said that's just a random value. He assigned it and then offered me
Well,
210.
yeah. So he already deducted like 70% and then went another 40 or 40, or I don't know how the math doesn't add up. 70 plus 40 is 110, but that's not what it is. But you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
insane. I do think though, going back to your other thing, I think the foot traffic too is you're in Chicago, right? Where the Nationals going to be. Probably like 5% of the hobby is like us, where we're like every other weekend at a card show. Most people are like trying to. I'm doing the same, so I can't say anything. Are saving up, and especially at Chicago because they're saving up for the national. They want to probably buy their card that they've been wanting to PC for a while. So I could see people trying to hold off coming up to the national. So I think the shows might get less and less traffic. One, like you said, it's getting hot. Two, you're in Chicago. where the national's being held. So there's a lot of people that are probably like trying to save up, right? And three, not everyone's us in the hobby, like indulge in the hobby like we are.
Well, and so I will add this. Apparently, there was another big show in Rockford, which is
Oh,
like a 45-minute ride, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of show.
mhm.
And in that could have taken away from it. But I just want to continue to talk about the I have this new theory I'm working on. It's not completely done. But you and I are very fortunate, and there's a lot of people too. And if you want some help, please slide into the DMs. Manny and I'll like take you that way. There's certain cards that we have the ability to sell to directly for the repackers. So like even in that Jordan Love that falls, so I could sell it to a repacker at 85% minimum. So if you do eBay at 700 minus 15%, I always have that in my back pocket if it's a BGS 95 or greater or a PSA 10. Now, I'm not saying I would be willing to go down. I have no problem making a deal. If somebody's friendly and kind, I have the ability to go back. But one thing I noticed is you have these repackers going through trying to clean people out, and it makes it very difficult. It just kind of it makes it a little goofy. And like I said, this is an incomplete theory, but I think moving forward, I'm going to attack from a buying perspective. I think I'm going to attack small shows that people aren't going to because I don't think I can go to Dallas and compete or take on the risk of buying at 90%. There's just not enough room from a margin perspective there to make money. So I think I need to attack shows where these guys aren't going because I must have had 4 or 5 repackers come through and say, I'll buy everything on your table at 70 to 75%. I'm like, guys, I can sell the repackers too, and I can get 85. So I know you're making that 10, 15%. I appreciate it, but I'm good.
Yep.
On to
Yep.
the next one. On to the
And,
next one.
and I think you kind of want to be the big fish at a small pond than the small fish at a in the ocean type is what you're saying as a buying perspective.
Yeah, I just think, yeah,
But
I really think because those smaller shows sometimes there's just not a lot of money in the room.
like for example, this is a good example, and we love this show. Shout out Levi. He hosted the Traverse City. There's probably like 30 tables, I would say.
Hmm.
But if you had money at that show, the guys that were buying repacks, the same dealer went to the Lansing show. He was there with better cards because it was prior to this Lansing show. Um, and if you had tons of money, you probably could have made some steals. That's where you bought your Kobe White lot
Lots.
really cheap because the guy was trying to find someone that would buy it for him and had the cash.
Exactly.
So
100%. And so my new theory is when we get back from this little run of shows, it's going to be instead of trying to make the big shows where I'm trying to compete with Hit Parade and some of these other guys, let's go to a show that's 30 tables. And, you might strike out because there might not be the cards that are there, but I think I'm going to shift my focus to like mid and low tier.
yep.
I really do. I'm having a blast building up to big cards, getting the big card, and then trading down and getting more value, and then just keeping it simple and repeating that process.
Yeah, I'm in a different like I love how we switch and stuff like that. Like we're never if you notice and you listen to us from the beginning, we're never like complacent, which is probably good for us.
Yeah.
Uh right now I'm in TCG. My main goal is I want to build my Instagram towards like TCG audience so it's easier for me to sell TCG cards. Because for example, Brandon Bronamath, he posts cards and they sell like that because he has the following for TCG and he's a great guy, makes great deals. Um, I I put cards up, and if Brandon reposts it, I sell cards really quick.
Yeah.
If Brandon doesn't repost it, I don't get any hits. So it's I want to. That's where I'm like maybe I should because I enjoy TCG and I plan in the future ripping cases and selling what I can. I plan on trying to grow my Instagram, my personal Manny being Manny, towards the TCG community because I enjoy it.
So the retweet or the reshare of the Instagram story via Brandon is incredible. I had the TCG with me in Chicago. I sold one card. I admittedly I struggled to price them. I did the best I could, and if I thought a
What a
card was
steal.
worth if I thought a card was worth 50, I put it at 40. That way, if somebody came up, I didn't want them thinking I was being a scumbag. I had bought the two black labels when we had Brandon on the first time, and he sent 9 extra cards for free out of the kindness of his heart. I sent them into BGS, got them back. I had them back on Friday. Like, let's talk about money, Manny. I had the cards back on Friday. I sold one on Saturday, the BGS 95. Then I posted the other 8 Sunday. I messaged you and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And you're like, "Hey, man, I actually think that you're kind of cheap. Those cards are valuable, and this is why." And again, very appreciative and grateful for your time because I was able to lean on your your experience.
I was
I
gonna
was
say,
gonna
not
be I that's why I didn't say expertise, and it's
as
not a knock. It's not a knock to you because you're
yeah,
not an expert yet, but you're far more experienced and have more understanding because the cards are awesome. I'm typing in every single serial number.
yep.
Can't find on anything on eBay. Like none of the apps work for scanning it. They pull up like a 1962 baseball card. I'm like, well, I don't think this Son Goku's a a baseball card. So finally, I always exhaust all my options. And so finally, I reached out to Brandon. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry to bother you. Here's where am I at? Am I out of my damn mind asking $500 for the lot? And he's like, are you serious? The entire lot? I'm like, yeah, man. I got the cards for free. I'm into them for $180 to get them graded. Let's just say $200 because I dropped them off, but let's account for that gas. So I'm into them for $200. Let somebody else win, man. I'm not greedy. I posted them. He shared them. Right away, I was getting DMs and eventually did a deal. And when I found out the guy lived in China, part of me was like, oh, just because I hate going through the post office. But one thing that you've been adamant about is the community is completely different.
It is.
This person who messaged me and shout out to Jay, it wasn't just like HM question mark. He introduced himself. How is this? Hey, can you confirm that this is for the entire lot because your price is insane?
Mhm.
Uh, we talked about Brandon. He had done like 5-figure deals with Brandon. I'm like, yeah, Brandon seems to take a lot of my money too.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth. Am I talking with Jeremy or Courtney? Happy Mother's Day. Do you have any more cards? Blah 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 blah. And I felt like the more we engaged, the more I was attracted, and I found that space to be a lot more appealing than what I deal with sports card people. And I
Yep.
didn't. I knew it sounded true, but when you experience it, and I'm like, okay, these people operate more so the way that I do.
Yes, they are. Like, for example, I bought those cards from Australia. The guy's like super nice saying, "You want these, blah, blah, blah," and sends me like extra stuff. I just met him and sends me extra stuff. I post cards for sale on Facebook. I get DMs saying, "Hey, I'm trying to learn how to play Demon Slayer, and I was looking to get the SR set. How much would you go be willing to go down?" And we like talked it out. Like it's a community like trying like there's people trying to play. No one's trying to get over on anybody. That's what I've kind of experienced, and everyone's trying to share. Um, even so, you go to the low players all the way to like the top players. Ginger Fusion, which is Brandon's friend that's in the drag like one of the best Dragon Ball Z players, was in my stream live stream on Demon Slayer. Like, these are sick, blah blah blah. Get these graded, Manny. Do this, do this, do that. Like telling me what to do. And I don't know. It's just really helpful on that community.
And I believe this to be true from my novice experience. Ginger Fusion is a relatively big name in that community, right?
Yes.
How often when we break wax outside of our friends and like let's say somebody like Cage, do people jump in and are very kind and warm and friendly? Oftentimes, and not always, but oftentimes those people are elitists. Your
Yep.
cards aren't good enough. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah. And I'm not shitting on the entire sports card community. I'm just saying it just seems so much more warm and friendly over there.
Yes, I mean, you could even say Brandon. Bro Namath is an elitist in the Dragon Ball Z world. Like everyone knows him as like one of the main collectors in Dragon Ball Z, and the guy's willing to reach out whenever you have a question.
Yeah. So back to to put a bow on it, spent $200, picked up the cards on Friday, and by Sunday I sold the lot for 500 bucks.
Yep.
So
Judge
somebody got a
cards.
steal.
Judge
Yeah,
cards. If you
and
know, you know.
I don't know.
No, the
So
community.
and so what's always funny is like the like and maybe it's just me misinterpreting it. There was a lot of friendly messages like, "Oh man, I can't believe I missed this. Yada yada yada. That's a steal. Like, great. That's awesome." You pick up some followers, and you get like those like, "I would have paid X amount." I'm like, well, dude, I offered it up for 500. I made, I paid for shipping. So
Yep.
let's say $50. So I made 250 bucks, man.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Exactly. I mean, that helped with the box break, the free box break you gave away. So it all comes in circles.
But I mean, like, and so we've been talking about like how we're constantly changing what we're doing. I look at my Zion case from 2 weeks ago to what it is now, and like how different it is. And every single card that I picked up at the Ledex show on Saturday was in the mail on its way to TNT Monday morning. Like just cycling through and actually sticking to the plan in place because it's really easy to get distracted or get off course. And I'm finding it's working. I like that I have new inventory. It's exciting when grades are continuously popping. It's exciting that our cards are starting to show up on ComC because I do believe for me, I was promised May 16th everything will be uploaded. So I believe today's actually the 16th, isn't it?
Yep.
So they have like another hour and a half. And you and me were joking over the weekend. It was like, man, there was so much activity. I thought it was going to be done. And then it came to a screeching halt. And then, like, over the last 3 days, there's been activity again.
Yeah, I think it was the weekend. I think so. They must have had a big card show they went to or something. Um, I do want to say before we, because you said that you shipped international to China.
Hmm.
Manny made a mistake on eBay, and I don't know what I did. I got to learn. So maybe the Too Thick community can help me out. I don't ship. I'm starting the TCG world, and as you could see, most of like the collector selling base is international. A lot of people
Yep.
from Asia market, from Canada, from Europe, Australia. So I sold cards to a guy in Canada. I declared the amount that he purchased the cards on eBay for,
Ah, that's what so he got hit with a tax.
and I think he got hit with he said he had to pay $50 when it got there. Like, going back to the community too, though, is he said for future, just be careful, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I didn't know what to declare. I just declared what they were sold as. And he said, I just had to pay 50 extra Canadian dollars, right? And I don't know what that is to USA, but I'm gonna message him and offer like to help him out pay it because that's a mistake on my end because I didn't know. I don't even know if it's a mistake, but um I don't want someone paying extra when they don't need to. Um, but he stopped and the end of the paragraph was like, but these are amazing cards. Thanks. They got here really good shape, blah, blah, blah. Like so happy. But he was like just trying to like inform me. So I made a mistake, I think. Maybe you could give me more information on this. I never shipped overseas or was
I
overseas. It's
Well, I mean, it's a weird thing because by nature, you and I are honest people, right?
yes.
And so it's like uncomfortable to do something or to like because you don't know what like the penalty. Do I get charged more? Do they get charged more? And so one thing that became very apparent to me on Sunday when all these DMs came through, and I recognized after I shipped these cards to China was like, oh wow, I'm better get used to going to the post office and doing that. So, and the guy I dealt with, he laid it out in English, first name, last name, country, city, address, road, house number, postal code, phone number, email, and then he put declare as board game props, declare the value $50. Please make sure you fill in the phone number. fill in the value of the goods as 50 bucks and the quantity as one piece. And so he gave very specific instruction. He said that that's how he ships and that it's good. So at least now I know for anything international, because when I went to the post office, it was the most seamless, easy international ship that I've ever done. And I'd say I've done maybe 30 in my lifetime. I'm going to ask people to just provide the information in that manner.
So USP, did you go through USPS then?
USPS.
How I thought you had to use FedEx or someone like UPS. I use the USPS system because eBay has it. So I must have just declared too much. But why don't you declare what the amount is that it
Because they pay a tax on it.
see, and I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not something that's common knowledge. And I bet you that person's probably also thinking next time I buy something, I got to say, hey, man, chill out. Because I've had people not buy. I imagine they're similar to us. They're like, hey, I'd really love to buy it, but it's $1,000. And that'll actually cost me $1,300 because they charge me, 30%.
Okay.
I'm just using. And so I've actually messaged with people who have done that. So I'm not sure how it works when you use like those third parties where it's like they have like a US address that's like in Seattle and it gets there and then whatever happens after it gets there. Um, yeah, but I think that's a lesson learned.
Yeah, but on eBay, they know how much it costs, and if I put something less, do they still get hit for it?
Well, exactly.
So I don't
Exactly.
know. I'm gonna message the guy and at like offer to help out. I don't know. Like I said, what's 50 Canadian to USD? Um.
35, $40.
Oh, I'll just like I said, I could just offer to. I'll be like, you want 40 bucks? I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, I don't want him to give me a bad review. He didn't see. He was excited about the cards, but I don't know these things. Like, that's my first time shipping international. I have a package here that I want to ship to the double coverage guys, but I'm too nervous. I don't know how to do it to ship to them as well. But they have shipped my cards. So I guess I could just ship it to ship my
Yes.
cards and then they grab it from there.
Well, maybe we hold off and we'll throw in some merch for them and we'll split it and we'll send over one package because I got
Okay.
some stuff. Got a wedding gift for my buddy.
That's good. Yeah, let's do that. I'm excited. I do. I want to send something for them.
I think it's admirable that you want to give this guy 40 bucks. I would say, hey, I would shoot him a message and offer to throw him an extra like 10, 15 bucks. I wouldn't offer to pay it all because he probably is thinking I should have said something. And also, like, you shouldn't be penalized for being honest.
Yeah, the thing is like I think I'm different on eBay, and I know you're the same. When I get someone pays, it's if it's paid before the USPS person, the mail lady came, it's getting shipped out that day.
Oh, yeah.
So he paid, and I hurried up, and I already had it like packaged. I print the label out and put it right out. So I don't know if he expected it to be shipped so quick. That's what I do. I don't want to mess around when it comes to. I don't like waiting for packages, so I know I try to get mine out as within the 24 hours of you paying.
I, dude, I've had days where I've gone to the post office 4 or 5 times and I actually had to like, I had to because I was setting this unrealistic expectation that when somebody pays, because we send a picture of the package, like an actual picture, all that, we print the shipping label. Like I will, if somebody pays for something at like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm up, I will go package it right there. And it would be perfectly reasonable to like package it before lunchtime because you're sleeping.
Yep.
And so I'm fortunate that the post office is only about 10 minutes from my house. But if you were solely operating in cards and you're running a business, you can't. You're hemorrhaging money, gas, time,
Yes.
energy, effort going to the post office 4 or 5 times. But I'm the same way. Somebody
Right.
pays if the mail already came for the day, and typically I don't leave it. I always go and I hand scan it in. I wait in line and have them hand scan it in.
Really? Okay. So sometimes I leave it in my mailbox if they're not there. I'll look and
Yeah.
be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that because now if you know where I live, um, but I don't think people that listen to us are like that. So
I mean, I wouldn't leave it in a mailbox in Philly. You know what I mean? But
yeah, exactly. That's true. We do have some scumbags that listen to us. Two of them. So shit. I should
Hey,
have.
shout out to those guys. We're gonna be jumping on their podcast Thursday night. They're celebrating 100 episodes.
They are. That's good. That's big time for them. So not for them. I guess that sounded really bad. That's big time for anybody. I'm proud of them. They actually, I love their content. I love they the guests that they bring on and the questions they ask are really informative through their aspect, and they're more of a collective base podcast, I should say, and I do enjoy that because I don't. Ours is more like I said, we're just goofballs, right? But we
Yep.
we both are. We like to deal. We like to flip and get new cards. They're more of I'm buying cards and they're staying in a suitcase for a while.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I really do. And I was thinking about it a lot as we were preparing to interview Nat Turner because he's a collector.
Yep.
I don't have the bankroll that he has. I think if I just collected and I didn't sell anything, I would actually get bored, lose interest, and dip out because part of the thrill for me is the activity, it's the action, it's interacting with people, it's getting new cards, and it's
Same.
coloring up. If I had to just buy one card and then stop and then work for X amount of days, months, weeks, years to accumulate the funds, then buy another card, then stop, I know me, I would lose interest. And
Yep.
I think it's cool for people who are able to do that. I'm just saying, for me personally, I I wouldn't be able to survive that way. Like I need to flip, I need to grade, I need to like constantly have some movement. And I by doing that, I found cards that I would have never even known existed that I think, oh wow, these are badass. This is a cool
Yeah.
looking card. I could collect that.
Speaking of collecting, I do want to give an announcement for Manny on Manny's side. I don't even think
Yes.
I think I told you right away, but I don't think I've brought it up in a while, and I don't think you know the back end. But Ken Carl, I don't know if you've seen his work.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you request and you get put in the books like 6 months out. I requested to get a card done by Ken Carl back in December. In June, and you have
Hold
to pay.
on. Hold on. Check the chat because I want to show you that I pay attention.
Okay, yep, you're right. So,
Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Don't think
that's
that I
good.
don't know what's going on.
Well,
I'm a sponge.
I didn't know if I told you or not because I haven't told too many people because but so December and then June, he's gonna start working on it and start talking to me. You put like a $50 down just to hold your spot. So it's only like when you're about to pay, it's like 250. He pays like 300 to 400 depending on the card, right? Which you might think is a lot, people out there. But if you see this guy's work, it is amazing. And it's a one of one card. He's never going to do it again. My card, he's never done this player. So not only is it a one of one for his standards, it's a one of one that hits his first ever card that he's done of this player.
This is fucking
And
awesome. Danny Burgers.
I know. So I get in June, and I also DM'd him. This is more of a surprise to you, Jeremy. He's willing to come on. So I think I'm going to try to book him during the process of him making this card so we could kind of go through the steps, and he'll be at National. So if you guys see the cards, Ken Carl, I'm getting a Lionel Messi card art, one of one. I'm pumped. I'm so happy about it. I've been excited since December.
That is sweet. I remember when you told me that and how excited you were, and that's how you know that we're just like straight up card dorks.
Yes. Because if you look at, I mean, it's amazing, but I'm never going to sell that card. So just think, this is how bad of a card dork I am, Jeremy. I want to get, you remember when he scored against Real Madrid and took his jersey off?
I
That
do.
iconic photo. I've been asking him if he could do that on the card. Imagine how sweet that would be.
That is
Or like
sweet.
a side profile of him holding the jersey. And
That is
then
awesome.
with the connection, because we you build so much connections in the hobby. I've been bugging Roberto because he works with D-Rob and sometimes they do autograph signings with Messi. I said, how much would it cost to send this card with you guys to get it signed by Messi? I said, this is going to be my like PC, like never sell PC, and I really want it done. He's like, if we ever book him again, I'll let you know. So I'm pretty pumped because how sweet would it be to get a Messi auto from a one of one artwork?
You have to make that happen. What like what do you have a number in mind that it would be too much?
I don't know because it's
Thousand.
I'd probably do it for 1,000 for an auto because what I mean, you people pay way more for an auto Messi for
Yeah,
1,000, right?
to me, I mean, a thousand's a no-brainer. I think you have to get it done. And I don't know the Messi market, so I don't know if that's over under. But if that's your card, that's your one of one. It's the iconic shot. How fucking sweet would an on-card Messi auto be?
And my thing is like I won't sell it, but I'll bring it to card shows so people would walk by and be like, "Holy cow, look at this card." I'll be like, "Not for sale." It'd be the first card. I'd be like, "Yeah, you can't buy it." So
What are your thoughts on autographs on cards that don't come from the factory? Like you buy a card and then you get it autographed in person. How do you feel about that?
if they're authenticated, I actually enjoy it for my own collections. Um, I have a lot of Michigan State stuff like that. I know a guy that goes to Reno's, which Michigan State and Tom Izzo, they go every Tuesday to Reno's, and he gets autographs from them and gives them to me. So I have a little collection like that. I know a lot of people don't like them, but it's too. I think if you're PCing them, they're really cool. They're cheap compared to the Panini
Yeah.
sticker. Just imagine
So
you sign on a sticker, but this is like if, say, for example, it's on a card and you saw the person sign the card, it's on card auto. It's just aftermarket.
so I'm one of those people that always had zero interest in those cards. I think I'm starting to shift just a touch. I'm not saying I want to build a
Oh,
collection
yeah.
around it, but there was a guy at the Skyline show who was set up, and his whole business was like, "These are the athletes that I have coming up. You leave it with me. This is the price point. This is when you get it back." And you
Is he
could
from
walk up.
is he from
What's it?
Michigan? Is he from out of Michigan?
Chicago.
Okay, there's a guy in Michigan at Skyline that did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, at the Skyline show last time, I was talking to him,
Okay.
so I thought it was the same one.
And I thought it was really cool. So he's like he was doing he had Justin Fields and like he had the prices. So like if you wanted to drop off this, this, and this, and I'm like, the only other time that like autographs are around us is like a card show would do one like, I don't want to say washed up because that's disrespectful, but like a 1980s baseball player that probably doesn't connect with you and I. It's like an older audience. Or people wait in those crazy lines at National. And I've never been one chasing autographs, but I'm like, if I know these people are going to be set up at card shows, what's to stop me from knowing like, hey, you know, Justin Fields is going to be, I drop off some cards, I pick it up in a couple weeks, and all of a sudden I got a bunch of slabbed up. Well, it's not slabbed at that point, but I go get it slabbed up, authentic autographs. And so I've been thinking about it a lot. I might start doing that. And shout out to the guy who had the thought process to set up at a card show and do that because I think he did pretty well.
Oh yeah, there's that the guy I was talking about was from Detroit, like just around I think Sterling Heights. And
Really?
he had like Cade Cunningham jerseys. He had um Spencer Torkelson cards that were signed. So like the bigger names in Detroit on card. I thought it was pretty unique because there's not a lot of people that do that. And if you're in your own lane, what do they always say? Think outside the box.
Yeah.
It could become a thing and I don't know, get the hot prospects of if I could ever I mean I got a Luca. What's the difference of a Luca jersey that was on like
I know. I know.
so I don't know.
It's
Same
one of
thing.
those things where like when you state it like that, it makes 100% perfect sense. But then I'm thinking like I've got this slab with this card, and I know the card doesn't come from the factory at the autograph. I don't know why
Would
it's
you
always
would you rather have a out of a 99 relic that is from Dick's or a on card auto from the player and it's a base card, like I guess you should say. I should say Patrick Williams or a jersey that's signed that you got signed
yeah.
by
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
right? I mean, I don't
Yeah, no, no,
I'm so out on the relics that aren't from the player that's just saying not game worn, not player affiliated or whatever. And the sticker autos, they're signing a sticker book. Send it to Panini. Panini's taking the sticker, putting it on a card. What's the difference? I'd rather
yeah,
have it on card in person.
hey, there's certain things in this hobby that I am willing to accept that I need to unfuck myself
Yeah.
because as you're learning, you're maybe influenced or you think that things are because the group of people that you watch do it a certain way, that's the way it needs to be done, and you start to like, so you become a little more confident and wise. You're like, oh, I can march to the beat of my own drum. I'm going to be respectful and kind to people, but I'm going to do what's cool for me, like make podcasts with a human lava lamp.
Yeah, you just quoted Vivo. I got that. March with or bounce to the beat of my own drum or something like that.
I don't know what the hell I said. I
Yeah,
black out, words come out, and then
you quoted Vivo. So yeah, I maybe we start doing that. That'd be fun. I know a guy. I know a guy that has he's legit, but he doesn't get it certified. Any of his autographs certified. He sells it on eBay, but he gives me a discount. And he's local to me, but I know he goes and gets the autograph. So that's like a kind of a thing where we could buy, get it authenticated, and sell.
well, can you hack the system? If eBay provides an authentication service,
Yeah,
do you
isn't
even
that?
have to go get the stuff certified? Just ship it to eBay and let them authenticate it
You're
for
right.
you.
You're right. There you go. I like
Cool.
that. But yeah, the so if we wanted to do that for like especially Michigan State stuff, I could get Michigan State stuff like crazy.
Dude, the next 2 weeks are going to be wild. I'm already tired and hasn't even happened yet. And I
Me
need
too.
to I need to ask your opinion. I need to because I feel like I'm gonna get I feel like I'm gonna get my balls busted, and maybe rightfully so. This weekend, I am heading to Indianapolis, Indiana, to event to attend Gary V's VCon.
Yeah, you're a Gary
I-
disciple.
I'm a VLO. I am gonna pick me up a barking bat NFT, and I am going to retire wealthy.
There you go. No, I'm excited for you. I wish I could go, to be honest. It was ah, I wish I could
You
be there, but
you can go and not be a complete and total like Gary V drone, right?
yeah.
Because there's people that either love him and there's people that hate him, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of in between. And I know a lot of the card circles I'm in, he is not highly regarded. And so it's like from a networking perspective, I'm not taking a lot of cards. I'm taking like a handful of like mid tier. We'll call them mid tier cards. High end for me, mid tier for you because you've got the Fanatics box.
No.
I'm excited to go because all the extra stuff. Andrew Schultz, I find incredibly hysterical. I'm going to get to see him. Busta Rhymes, I'm going to break your fucking neck. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I'm going to
Baron
pass the
Davis.
Cavassier. I'm going to B Diddy. I'm going to pass the Cavassier. I'm going with Trees and Ryan, and those guys are wild. So I'm scared because I'm not going to be able to keep up with them.
You're not.
And I'm also scared because what if I post a picture like, "Hey, this is cool"? Am I going to get a bunch of hate? I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate DMs, aren't I?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I okay, we're gonna sell this right now. If you could go talk to Gary V for like 5 minutes and try to get him on Too Thick, I want him on Too Thick. So or get Andrew Schultz or Buster Rhymes or Jessica Elbo's gonna be there. So you got that's your one goal is to get me an autograph of Jessica Elbo. So
Yeah, Jessica, come on, let's go on the Too Thick pod.
yeah, I mean we have the same. Her kid's name is Haven as our same as ours. So just say I know someone that has Haven as a kid, and then that opens up the door, and then you get my auto.
You got Jessica Alba joining. All of a sudden, it's like the wives want to be on this episode.
Exactly.
It's Callie. Baby tells you to shut up. Courtney's like, I'll drive Jeremy. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you.
Exactly.
And you're just like putzes. Yeah, man. And then the following, and it's also King Steve's birthday. So Courtney, I'm actually excited. Courtney is going to the Johnny Ford show.
Yep. Yep.
I'm excited for her, but I'm also jealous because in a perfect world, I would go to that show and she could go do the Gary V thing.
Yeah, but I mean, this is your chance, right? This is
But
gonna be
then,
your chance to market, and then this is her chance to buy and sell. It's like a flip
yes,
of like what's going on. I haven't told you, but I may be able to drive up to Johnny Ford, so I may be there to help Courtney. I'm
that's
not
so.
positive or not, so I just didn't bring it up, but I may be able to.
So I want to know: are you ready? And I know we're up against the hour, so we'll try to wrap it up here shortly. But are you ready for next weekend? Because Saturday is Lansing.
Yeah.
And that show is a kick-ass show in itself. And by kick-ass, I mean it's awesome, but it also kicks your ass. You're tired when it's done because it's a legit show. And then 4 hours after that,
Straight.
really 3 hours, trade night starts in Shipshewana. And then you've got all day the following day at the Shipshewana. Do you have your Yeezys ready to go? Do you have your beverage of choice? Do you have deodorant? Do you have something to charge your phone? Did you eat? Because I'm not going to sit and listen to Courtney bitch at you for not eating breakfast.
I
Are
know
you prepared for next weekend?
Courtney turned into an instant mother when I went downstairs. You eat or I'm not, so I don't hear you at noon. I was like, all right, ma'am. See, I'm going to eat.
Oh my goodness.
No, that was the night I took NyQuil and woke up so drowsy. I didn't wake up until noon. Or I
Dude,
didn't like wake my brain didn't wake up until noon.
in my mind, that was next day suicide because I am a terrible sleeper. There is one thing in this world that knocks me out, and that is NyQuil. I take NyQuil in like 15 minutes, I am dead to the world. You decided to take NyQuil at like 4 in the morning when we had to be up at 6.
Yeah, it was the worst. Worst idea in the world. I was dead. I I didn't show it or complain about it that much, maybe to you guys, but that show I was really dead until I bought that Luca auto jersey. So then I was alive. So
Shout out to your boy for the pure pressure on that one.
yeah, you did peer pressure me. I do need to probably take it to to a couple shows to see if I could sell it because I got some big cases of stuff I want to rip and I could always get a Luca auto, make my money a different way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let's talk offline. I've got this nice card shop. I've got room for a P Will and want something else. A Luke would be dope.
There you go. The Luca is really dope. Like I
It
said, the
is.
custom I can't believe I got that deal I did because of the custom frame is almost as much as the
That guy,
actual freaking price I paid.
that guy was going table to table, and it's like the Courtney and I were at a gentleman's club on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is such a terrible story. We went to Vegas and we were on Fremont Street at this place called like the Glitter Gulch, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And we were just like we had some time. We had like 4 or 5 hours to kill before we could check into our hotel. We were having drinks. We were going to place bets when the sports book opened, then go to bed and wake up to find out what did the Lions do, what did the Cowboys do. And we were sitting there, and this lady's like, "Hey, I'll give you guys a dance for $80." And like, no, we're good. And now we're not above getting a dance. So it's not like that. It's not like we're saying no because that's we don't get down like that. It was just like we got in, we were having a drink, we were enjoying the company, we were vibing, as
Yeah.
you would say. The lady's like, whatever number she started with, and then like within like seconds, she was down to like $10. And I was like, hey, here you go. Here, like, like here's some money. Thank you. Please get the hell away from me. My point being, that guy was going, and like anybody that was even getting him to the number that was remotely close to in his head, he was saying yeah. And you were like, you threw a number out there. He said yeah, and I was like, damn, good for you, Manny.
Yeah, I don't know
Stacking them
how
dubs.
it kind of scares you though, because he when you think about it, when you're doing these type of purchases, uh he was going around table to table and everyone's saying no. So I was like, what am I missing here? Why am I the only one to say yes? But
I've dealt with that guy because if it was like a complete stranger, I would have been like, too good to be
oh
true,
yeah,
pass. Too good to be true, pass.
he's always at Shipshewana, I think.
Yes.
So and then he was like, you have to come to my car to get it because he had it and he's like, you could have the sheet. And I'm walking to the car, I'm like, I probably should have brought someone with me because he could easily just take me right now.
Some guy pushes you in the back. Next thing you know, you're
Imagine me getting kidnapped for buying the Luka Doncic jersey.
my gosh. You're just chained naked in a basement somewhere, being forced to make videos that you don't want to make.
Shout out Crazy 8, our good
Yeah.
friend.
Oh, how did you like today on Twitter? Me trying to secure guests. Like, what's your one hobby question? And I'm like, please come on the Too Thick Pod, and I'll tell Manny that the
Yeah,
Red Sox suck.
yeah, that was funny. And then I had to put some Red Sox memes in there.
I love it.
Yeah,
Because I felt like that was going to turn into like a more puppet master thing. Like
yeah.
I just throw some wood on the fire and then back out while you guys take each other out, and it kind of worked out that way.
It did. She didn't take the bait though. I was hoping she took the bait.
Sue's is smart. I feel like Sue's, you give her and like you know, you give her a little like a half a beer and turn off all the cameras, turn off all the recording device, let her speak her mind. I think she could hold her own against you and I.
Oh, yeah.
Probably kick your ass and then
Yeah, for sure. We got to make sure we tell her that too. She's not ready for the too thick. So
yes. So man, yeah, that's it. We've got a lot of cool stuff. I got the initials. Okay, blind reveal. You saw like the rough, not the final rough of the merch.
I gotta
How
tell
do
you something. I gotta tell you something after that. Go ahead. That was sick. I love it. You look identical to the thing that you did.
so but did you like it?
I liked it. They need to
Okay.
add. They probably need to add 10 pounds to my face, um,
Yes.
because I look like a crackhead. I look like I do drugs in that anime. If you look at it, does it not look like I do drugs?
Yeah, like sunken in
I
cheeks.
do.
Like
I got
you look lean. I was like, damn, he looks good. Good for him.
It looks like I throw up after I eat and I do cocaine.
Good time.
I was looking at it. I was like, dang, I need to probably shave into that the goatee mustache. But I liked it. I liked the bear was amazing.
Oh, I don't give too much away.
Oh, okay,
Don't
okay.
give
Well,
yeah, don't give too much away. But it is gonna be sweet. I can't wait. That's gonna be an exclusive. And I'm gonna go out and so I always feel like these things are gonna be great and they flop or like nobody's nearly as excited. I really think that these things are gonna do relatively decent.
Are we putting it on like the back the back chest
Oh,
or
dude, you're gonna get a couple different mock-ups to choose from.
oh okay. Okay.
Because then you start adjusting the fonts and stuff like that, but it's going to be absolute fire.
So I was telling Don about this and he said to reach out if we don't have a person, but we have a person that creates shirts because he
Yeah,
said with flow motion, he has people that could actually do the shirts.
yeah. And
So
I didn't even know this, but Doctor Collectibles sponsoring our shirt too.
oh, he is? How? Oh, he's sponsoring
Oh,
everything.
everything.
He's
Jesus
everywhere.
Christ, dude! I went to my kid's local dance recital, and it was like Doctor Collectibles sponsors the recital. I'm like, Jesus, man,
He's
this guy
everywhere.
is
He
everywhere.
was on Dave and Ava or Dave and Ava. See, this is when you know I have kids. Dave and Adams the other day. He's everywhere.
Legitimately,
They
I'm
told him
watching a
to promote the show, the national, and he's been promoting the national. I'll tell you that.
yeah, dude. I just thought it was funny because I'm like, Jesus, is there anywhere that this guy isn't?
I know. I want to DM and be like, "Hey, teach me your ways." So,
Dude, man. Dude. So yeah, man, that's all I've got for me for one day.
yeah, same. So, what do you want the people to do? And I kept,
Smash! Smash it! Woo!
you know, did you see on Drip? I kept saying, "What do you want the people to do?" And you would not say it.
I wouldn't take the bait, baby.
I was like 5 minutes straight. I'm like, "What do you want the people to do? What do you want the people to do, Jeremy? What do you want the people to do?" Nothing.
Spend
So,
some damn dollars. We got some bills to pay over
yeah,
here.
there you go. And with that, make sure you follow Reckless Cards on Instagram, on TikTok, and Jeremy
OnlyFans, Drip,
Drip
Farmers Only. Yes,
Farms and Twitter. Make sure you put the underscore because
ISO.
Jeremy screwed up. So,
I did.
and then follow me at Manny B and Manny 1.0 on IG. And we are the two that make up Too Thick. I hope that you enjoyed your hobby release because we sure did. And we will talk soon, probably before, maybe just right after VCon or right before VCon. So be ready. And with that,
Be there or be squared.
square L7
Squared.
Meanie. Bye.
Losers.